Morning, Toros. I'm Greg Milbrandt, your principal.
I'm Officer Lovell, your SRO.
And we're going to do a presentation on our emergency response system. This training will prepare you to respond to emergency situations on campus. We will discuss what students are supposed to do in an emergency situation.
You've probably seen this poster around the school and in our classrooms. The icons are eye-catching.
There's a reason schools across the country adopt standard icons to enhance student and staff safety during an incident or an emergency.
The key is that there is a simple, shared vocabulary between students, staff, and first responders. And when used, everyone involved shares the same expectations. Who are we sharing this vocabulary with?
We start with first responders. So if something happens at our school, they'll know what to do and what to expect.
The same language is shared with students, so you know what to do.
Teachers and staff are given the same training.
And it's also important to tell your parents what we do here at school.
And it's based on 4 actions that we take during a critical incident: threat, lockdown, evacuate, and shelter.
Each action is followed by a directive.
Threat to student, staff, or school. This could result in a lockdown.
Lockdown means doors locked, lights out, stay out of sight.
If we have to evacuate, the location will be announced.
In some incidents, we may have to shelter in place.
Every action then has specific instructions of what to do in a crisis.
It's important to evaluate if there is immediate danger, then report to an adult on campus and possibly police.
If the act is about to take place, the school will determine if there's an immediate need to lock down.
Again, lockdown means doors are locked, lights are out, stay out of sight.
The term lockdown means we are securing our campus against a potential intruder or natural disaster. They are also usually initiated by the police. It could be a full or modified lockdown depending on the circumstances. It could be something as simple as a wild animal on campus or a police situation in the neighborhood.
Or it could be something worse, like an armed intruder or some other danger.
Being in a lockdown does not mean we are in danger. It could just be a drill. We conduct 2 drills per semester or 4 per year. Whether it's real or a drill, we respond the same.
Okay, let's look at what students should do in a lockdown.
First, stay out of sight from hallways. How do you know if you're out of sight? If you can't see out of the classroom, no one can see into the classroom from the hall. Also, sit on the floor and get low. A locked door is a proven time barrier. In active violence events, rarely, if ever, has someone been hurt who is behind a locked classroom door.
Be absolutely silent. If you have a phone, turn it off in the initial stages of a lockdown. If there's an actual lockdown, you will get a chance to text your parents in a while. We will also contact your parents through our mass communication system.
Do not open the door for anyone. Administrators or law enforcement will unlock the door if they need to enter.
What's the difference between modified lockdown and a full lockdown? Modified lockdown is when the threat is in the neighborhood. A full lockdown is when there is a threat inside the building or on campus. After securing the perimeter, modified lockdown means classes can resume with lights on, but don't leave the classroom until it's lifted. Full lockdown is doors locked, lights out, stay out of sight.
What if you're outside when a lockdown is called? If you're outside and a lockdown is called, run to the nearest classroom. Teachers will be looking for students or staff who need to enter.
What if there is no teacher? Get behind a locked door if possible. If not, close the door and hide. A staff member or police will find you.
What if you're in the hallway during a lockdown? Teachers check the hallways quickly before they lock and turn out the lights. Get to a classroom, any classroom, as quickly as you can and lock down. If the classroom is already locked, then find a place to hide. Do not go from classroom to classroom. Evacuating may be another option.
What if the fire alarm sounds during a lockdown? Stay in the classroom unless you see fire or if smoke is filling your classroom. If you must evacuate due to a fire or smoke, follow my directions or from another teacher or staff member.
Can we text our parents? In the time immediately after a lockdown is called, remain silent and turn off your phone. As the event evolves, you will be given an opportunity to text your parents. Our school will also contact your parents about any lockdowns we have here at school.
Evacuation is how we move students in an orderly fashion from point A to point B. A fire drill is really evacuate out of the building. Notification to evacuate is always followed by a location.
Here is what students do when an evacuation is called.
Usually, you'll have to leave your stuff behind unless directed otherwise.
Be sure to listen for any new directions.
Here's what to do if the police have responded and are evacuating the school.
It's important to keep your hands visible to the police officers.
Most likely, you will be asked to leave your stuff behind unless otherwise directed.
If your phone is in your pocket, bring it. If it's in your purse or backpack, you may not be given the opportunity to grab it. Our school will also notify your parents through our mass communication system.
Don't be surprised if the officers are loud and demanding. They don't know the extent of the incident yet. They will give direct instructions that you should follow. Again, be sure to keep your hands visible.
What can you take with you? It's unlikely that you can bring your backpack. You may not even be able to get to it once officers enter the room. But if you can, bring your phone, wallet, and keys.
Why do we keep our hands visible? Law enforcement officers are trained that hands can hold dangerous things. They will want to see your hands. You might be asked to evacuate hand in hand or with your hands on your head.
What will police do? In some cases, during the evacuation process, officers will want to verify that students aren't at further risk. They may search students and staff for other dangerous items.
Some of you may have heard the term shelter in place. Mesa Public Schools uses the term modified lockdown for shelter in place situations.
So what's a hazard? Something dangerous. It could be environmental, like a tornado or earthquake. It might be something like a chemical spill nearby.
Your safety strategy is the plan to remain safe during a hazard. Follow any instructions and announcements given.
Our most common hazard is usually a flood. If the campus floods, you will go to higher ground.
Be sure to listen for any new directions.
Always be prepared for the unexpected.
What are some other hazards that we may have in our area? You may be able to come up with potential hazards that you may encounter.
Once again, these icons are the actions, directives, and instructions for Mesa Public Schools students and staff. This is a shared vocabulary between students, staff, and first responders during any type of crisis or emergency here at our campus.
But our district has one more action and directive. If a medical emergency should occur in class or on campus, here is how to react.
It is important that no one moves the victim. Immediately report the emergency to your teacher. If your teacher is not available, call the school office. If necessary, use your phone to dial the tip line or call 911. Be clear about where the emergency is located, both your school name and your classroom.
Once again, it's so important to remember the 4 actions of the Mesa Public Schools emergency management protocols.
Don't forget to share with your parents what you've learned today. Thank you for your attention to safety. Make it a great day, Toros.